Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. Okay, so no more Gamma goodness today. There was not even a teaser released, but the big thing that happened in the Aptera world is that the Fully Charged channel, which is a show that has about 1 million subscribers, put out a video about the Aptera today. I believe this was filmed several weeks ago because I remember looking on Twitter and Fully Charged was in San Diego like a month or so ago, and I'm sure that's when they filmed it, but they just put it out today. It's a little funny because Teslarati put out this article just 21 minutes ago talking about this video, and the title is Aptera's Gamma is as crazy as it is efficient in first hands-on look, which is kind of funny because obviously this is not the first hands-on look at the Aptera, and this is the Alpha, not the Gamma, and the Alpha's been seen by lots of people. Um, Rich Rebuild saw it. I mean, several. CNET saw it. Jay Leno saw it. Lots of people saw it. So this was not the first hands-on look. So Aptera offered its first hands-on look at the Gamma solar-powered vehicle today. Okay, so someone might want to clue them in. Anyways, I there wasn't much new information in this video. It was a really entertaining video. Production quality was really high, and I thought they did a good job of presenting the Aptera, but not too much new information here. Obviously, this was filmed in their new production facility, and as you can see, it's basically empty. There's nothing in here. And later on, we'll go through the little interview they had with Chris, which had a couple of new information. I just thought this was funny because when I was watching this for the first time, I saw this thing, and I thought this was like a new version of the Aptera in the background. But then on closer inspection, I'm pretty sure this is a chair. So I thought that was kind of funny. The other thing is I noticed that the hinge design between the Alpha and the Gamma has changed a lot. If you look at this hinge design, they have this hinge that goes into the dashboard area and this very small hinge here. And it looks a little flimsy, but if you look at the new Gamma, you see that this is a much larger hinge here, and they have a gas strut here. And the other hinge I think is probably up front. There's no hinge that goes into the dash unit. So I'm guessing they decided that this was a better hinge design, and it looks like it would be a little bit more robust. So I think that's good. All right. So the other thing they talked about here is about their skin
Skin
cooling.
cooling. That's a really interesting feature that Aptera like to talk about. So what that means is all the hardware that would typically require cooling through a vent in the front, instead what they do here is it's kind of all just pressed up against the undercarriage of the car, and the wind passing underneath the car provides sufficient cooling for the...
Okay, so he talks about the skin cooling, which, I'm not even entirely sure the Alpha had any cooling in there. It's possible the Alpha vehicles don't even have a cooling unit. And, we know that they have a very small battery, and it's basically a test unit, and they're not doing any like aggressive testing with the Alpha units. They're basically show vehicles. The Beta had a radiator on it in the front because they were actually really driving that thing hard. Um, but I wonder if this just doesn't have any cooling or thermal management at all in this. Because, like the early generation Nissan Leafs, actually even the current Nissan Leafs don't have any active thermal management. They have no a radiator basically. And we know about this skin cooling, and they showed us a little prototype of it when I went to visit them. But it wasn't exactly clear how well it works. And we have lots of questions about the skin cooling, right? The skin cooling is going to be most important when it is trying to DC fast charge the battery on a hot day when it's parked over black pavement. And so there's going to be almost no air movement over the thing when it's not moving and it's being charged, and you have all this radiative heat from black pavement. And some of us live in places like Phoenix or Palm Springs or something like that, where you can literally cook an egg on the black pavement. So there's many questions about how well the skin cooling will work. I'm not sure. I'm sure they've thought of it because they're automotive engineers, and they know the environment that they'll run in. So I'm sure they've thought of it. I'm sure they have a solution. I just don't know what it is, and they haven't told us what it is. So uh, they haven't released that information. Hopefully, all these things are set. See, I think a lot of this information we haven't been told because they haven't finalized the design. But hopefully, when Gamma is fully released, most of these design parameters should be set in stone. And then I think we'll get a lot of information, which is why I'm really waiting for this Gamma to come out because we all have so many questions about different kinds of subsystems. You know, like how fast does a DC fast charge? How does the cooling work? Have they thought of it DC fast charging on a hot day? How about cooling when it's really hot outside and you're stuck in stop and go traffic? Those kinds of things. We have lots of questions about all these different things. You know, what kind of self-driving are they going to have? Are they going to have radar? Are they going to have like Sentry mode? Are they going to have vehicle to load? Are they going to have a AC inverter plug? Are they going to have uh, a plug to put in external solar panels into? You know, so many questions. But we couldn't get an answer on many of these questions because the design parameters have not been set. But hopefully when Gamma comes out, those parameters have been set. Okay, but I think the few things that we learned about it were in this short interview with Chris. So let's listen to that together and kind of talk about it.
So just tell me a little bit about the current state of the company then. We're in a lovely new facility here just outside of San Diego. What stage are things at and what comes next?
Yeah, we have a lovely 80,000 square foot facility here in Carlsbad, California, which is basically north San Diego. We also have another 130,000 square foot plant just down the street, about 2 miles. That plant's going to be for sub-assemblies, so we'll sub-assemble the solar and the front and rear suspension assemblies and the battery pack, and then we'll bring all the sub-assemblies here, and this will be the final assembly location. And we have...
Okay, so that is new information to me. I was kind of we always knew that they were going to use sub-assemblies and kind of just assemble them together at the final facility. It sounds like, and I just assumed that the suppliers were giving us intact sub-assemblies. But it sounds like there's another 130 square foot facility 2 miles away from here that they're going to be kind of building the sub-assemblies there. If that's the case, Aptera is going to need to hire a lot more people. Because putting together, the front and rear suspension assembly, the battery pack, the solar assemblies, those all are going to take manpower. That's going to be pretty capital intensive. So, hopefully they have a plan for that. But that was new. I just always assumed the suppliers would be like, here's the front assembly, here's the solar panels, here's the battery pack, and then they just assemble them here. But that seems like that is not the case.
Have this already mapped out with 12 assembly stations and then QC at the end, to where an Aptera gets built in about 2 hours stem to stern and then drives out of the plant. So we're looking to fill this factory closer to the end of the year. The first robots are supposed to show up in September, October.
Okay, so that's the Red Viking robots that are going to show up in September, November. I think that's what they're talking about. I don't think it means like assembly robots, because they've always said that they're not going to have that kind of robotic building. It's going to be more people and doesn't require as much technology. The robots that they're talking about, I'm pretty sure, are the Red Viking AGVs. And then they're planning on making an entire Aptera from beginning to end, assembling in 2 hours. That seems really quick, but I'm sure some production expert told them that that's what they're aiming for. I guess that's an achievable goal, but seems very fast.
And then we're looking to deliver our first production intent vehicle by the end of the year, and then scale production in 2023. Obviously, to start.
So they're still sticking to the timeline of delivering a first production intent vehicle by the end of this year. Now, I don't know that production. So that means that that's not going to be a vehicle that's using the mass-produced parts from their suppliers. They're going to get like basically parts from suppliers that are their validation parts, and they're going to make a production intent vehicle with it. And so that's going to be kind of a prototype. I don't know if by delivering that they mean delivering it to themselves or delivering it to a customer. I don't know if an actual customer is going to get one of these prototype production intent vehicles.
Production you know, at 800 vehicles a month, you have to have a lot of things in place. So it takes us a few months to do that, but we think we'll be ripping and roaring in 2023 and 2024.
So looking to hit the ground running with those production numbers right off the bat. And how many pre-orders, by the way?
We have over 27,000 people that have pre-ordered an Aptera.
Is that exciting, terrifying, or both?
It's both. I like to harken back to, I played college football, and you know, you go to a football stadium that has 20,000 people and you look around and it's a lot of people. So I imagine 27,000 Aptera fans in a big stadium cheering for us to accomplish our mission. But it is a daunting task because that's a lot of people. So we don't want to start production with a trickle and, you know, build 5 a day and then 10 a day. We want to start production in a very full and healthy fashion, building 40 and then 80 vehicles a day. And we think that'll help us, you know, clear through our pre-orders very quickly. Obviously, you know, pre-orders are going up every day. So, you know, every day it's a bigger and bigger challenge, but it's exciting to think that we can almost immediately have an impact on transportation. And because we're 5 times more efficient than the average EV now, you know, every Aptera that's on the road is really having an impact on how people are using energy. Transportation that's made for efficiency, that can charge itself and doesn't take from the grid, really is a solution that's impactful, you know, not just to people's pocketbooks and not just to make the world a more efficient place, but to make the whole thing work long term. You know, if all electric vehicles are the thing, then they should be very efficient and they should not take as much from the grid.
Okay, so they plan on hitting the ground running and running it at 40 to 80 vehicles a day right off the bat. They said they didn't want to ramp up and start at 5 a day. That seems very aggressive and very optimistic, because I imagine that as in most things, nothing really goes as planned at the first time. So I would imagine that there's some snags and they got to work through some issues. And it seems like it'd be smarter to go 5 a day, but I'm not a manufacturing expert. Maybe some of you guys are. You can tell me if that's the case, but that seems like a very aggressive timeline. I hope they succeed. And that would be great because all of us can get our Apteras faster. I think it is good that Chris is still saying that they plan on delivering by the end of the year. That means that relatively things are on target. When I talked to him earlier this year, you know, there was information that some of the suppliers need a 6-month lead time to get parts to them. If that's the case, they would need a finalized design now or in July, where it passed, to give them a 6-month lead time for those parts. So maybe they figured those things out. Maybe they had finalized the design and the Gamma is just being built, but the design had been finalized. Hopefully there's no snags with the Gamma and they don't have to change the design again, because then that would be another 6-month lag time. But anyways, great video. Again, I'm really looking forward to the Gamma, because I think there's so many questions that I have, and I know many of you guys have, that basically can't be answered until we have a final design. All right, well, tell me, guys, I'm sure many of you guys watched this video. Tell me what you guys think. Did you learn something new that in the video that we hadn't learned before? For me, it was mostly old information. There's some new information that Chris Anthony said in that interview, which we kind of talked about in this video. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks again to our sponsoring members. And thanks for your comments. Always learn a lot by reading them. And have a great day, everyone.